Hi, I'm Michael Dorland of the Cult of Brighter Days, and you're listening to The Good Word. As you can tell, I failed completely at changing the title card over the last three episodes and left it at The Good News, which is actually our daily video and WordPress blog update that we do every day. Today, unlike the last couple times, I'm doing this part completely unscripted because I got a cold, flu, something like that, and I'm running behind on everything. So you guys will just have to deal with that one. Welcome to the good news. Today we're going to be talking about a couple big things that I think are necessary to talk about, especially in light of the current recent events that are going on in the world today. The scary fact that it appears like we may be actually going to war with Greenland and Canada or something. I mean, it changes like almost every hour. And the fact that things that would have like brought entire countries to a grind are just being passed off as no big deal. It makes you think that everything outside your house is a little chaotic, uncontrollable, something that you just can't manage at all. And what we're talking about today is we're going to talk about biscuits and we're going to talk about soup because if there's anything that is important in today's world, it's a sense of community. And it's a sense of community with people that you know, and it's a sense of community with people that you trust. And strangely enough, community for all of time has revolved largely around food. So our group has latched onto the concept of soup as a community event. Potlucks are a big thing. And the other thing that we're going to potlucks and biscuit recipes, because seriously, some biscuits are really, really good. Some biscuits are just awful. I mean, like, you ever had those Red Lobster biscuits, the garlic butter ones? Those were so good. And then what happened was they actually made them so you could buy them in the store. And you could get gluten-free ones in the store, and you made them at home. And they actually tasted better than the ones they were putting at the restaurant. So then you never had a reason to go back to Red Lobster because you could always get better seafood elsewhere. But anyway, so food. Food's a big topic we're going to talk about today. We're going to have Pope Richard, Pope Robert, yada, 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 something, yada. And Dr. T is going to join up with us. And we're going to look at communities and talk about that. And then we're going to talk about the other thing that we need nowadays, because in today's modern world, communities are really hard to come by. I mean, think about it. How many times have you actually talked to your neighbor? Or how many times have you actually done something for your neighbor? Or how many times do you even think about what your neighbor's name is? Do you even know your neighbor's name? Let alone know what political affiliation they have, let alone know what religious affiliation they have, let alone know if they have any affiliation at all. Or, like, big important things, do they play World of Warcraft? And if they do, have you accidentally killed them and not realized it? So we're going to talk about community, but we're also going to talk about virtual communities because, like I said, World of Warcraft, a lot more people have a sense of community in today's world via video games, virtual environments, than they do in real life. A perfect example of this is if you have ever read the book Ready Player One. Now, the movie was good, and I liked the movie, but it was nothing compared to the book. But if you read the book, one of the underlying things for the whole first half of the book, maybe for the first 2/3 of the book, which were really, really important, was the idea of how the virtual reality headset and everything had built up a sense of community and had kept everybody going in a world that had been completely ruined economically, environmentally. One of the main characters' friends that lived in his stack. A stack was a stack of mobile homes on top of each other so they could fit more people into one location. was an elderly lady who had her VR headset but attended several church events and church services every week, every day, in fact, and spent most of her time inside in her headset, but dealing with a virtual church, and it developed her life around it. Now, is that a bad thing? Yeah. And today's society, it's not the greatest. But as we move further into this weird, strange, dystopian environment that we've created for ourselves by choosing who we want in charge, largely, the idea that you're going to find more people you relate with, more people that you can create a sense of community with, and more people that you can enjoy your time with, either going out and doing exercises in a lot of sports, which obviously is one thing that people do, or existing in an online community such like a game. And so, since we're trying to create our group as more than just a local group that hangs out and does stuff, we're actually going to be creating it as a virtual community as well. Thus, we have some new game servers for environments and games that are not limited to a certain style of play or device. And we're going to go over some of those and look at how those can help people out and what people can think of them. So, like I said, we're unscripted here. I'm largely not feeling the greatest, but we're going to keep on going because we want to have a sense of consistency, even though I don't think that many people show up and watch as much of the stats. But we want to do this because we find it important. And so we're going to go on to our first story about community to start with. And then we're going to bring on Pope Richard, Pope something, 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 Robert, and Dr. T. And then we'll start talking about communities first off. So we'll be back. Watch this and find out what we actually think of the sense of community.
Hey, when's the last time you asked your neighbor for help? No, really. Not a like or a wave or an awkward nod in the hallway. I mean, real, awkward, vulnerable help. Been a minute? Yeah, that's not an accident. They've spent decades trying to convince us we're better off alone. They work to trick us into thinking that success is a solo mission. They congratulate themselves on making us believe that needing people is a weakness. The ones winning the capitalism game, they build towers, not bridges. But here's the thing. When the flood hits, the tower doesn't float. Community does. Because let's be honest, the world's a bit of a cosmic joke right now. The billionaires are planning moon vacations. Your social feed is 80% ads for AI-generated cheese sticks, and half your friends are one existential sneeze away from moving into a cave and declaring themselves forest royalty. And still, we're supposed to pretend we've got it all together? Nah, not here. Not in the cult of brighter days. Here we eat soup together. We laugh when it's uncomfortable. We yell into the void, then send each other memes to feel better about it. Community isn't some sweet idea we put on a throw pillow. It's a spell we cast together, a shield against despair. And yeah, sometimes it squeaks. But it's real, and it works. So if you're tired of being a product, a brand, a perfectly filtered loneliness machine, come sit with us. There's room at the fire. You'll love it. Join the cult, or at least check out what we're doing at thecultofbrighterdays.com. Because in this algorithmic hellscape, even a single weird laugh shared with another human is an act of rebellion. And rebellion tastes like soup.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Well, you got to change my name. Sorry. I can't figure out how to do it on the iPad for some reason.
Mm. The problem is I don't want to accidentally do a job interview and
Looks
not,
like we're having
not that
some
I've done a job
audio
interview in the
problems.
last 6 months.
So I have a biscuit recipe that I've memorized that I like a lot.
All right.
Biscuits are good.
I got it from my mom. 2 cups of flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, and a cup of liquid. And the liquid is split between 1/3 cup of oil and 2/3 cup of milk.
That's like a standard biscuit recipe.
And it's standard for a reason, because it's delicious.
Now, how fluffy are the biscuits?
They're pretty fluffy.
Are you using the proper flour?
I don't care.
I use the flour called Bisquick, because then I don't have to add any of that other stuff in it because it's already added in. That's the whole point.
Really is when you roll it out, fold it over and roll it out again, and keep doing that for a while. Then you get layers.
Oh, actually put effort into it. Yeah. Rolling it out. I never thought about that. I just lump it on a spoon and throw it on the, because it makes it look like those cheddar biscuits from Red Lobster I was talking about. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we're just gonna overdub the finish when we release this video. That's not live. We're just gonna overdub the first 4 minutes of this conversation. Pixel said he wanted to overdub the next time my mic wasn't working right. So we'll just insert his. He's going to insert his voice to cover my empty space. We'll see how that goes.
Okay.
So you've determined that Pixel is a he?
Pixel is it? Well, I don't know. It's a cat.
Did you ask Pixel
actually,
what
it's actually probably transgendery because it exists in a quantum state.
Pixel. You should ask it.
I should ask it? I should ask Pixel?
Yeah. Right. Okay. Instead of us assuming. That's not cool.
I'm pretty cool with assuming with Pixel. I don't like talking to him. He's sort of a jerk.
So then actually using that logic, Pixel's female.
I don't know. He's sort of a...
Why? Because females are jerks?
Yeah.
No, because they don't get along with Michael.
Oh,
that's not true. That's not true. I don't get along with anybody. Let's just be honest about that. It doesn't have anything to do with gender or any of that stuff. It's just people just don't get. I'm like the tab soda of conversationalists.
Ugh.
No. I mean, like, because everybody looks at it and says, "Is it as really bad as I remember it?" And so they'll drink like half a can and they'll say, "Oh yeah, this is definitely not." And then you'll get rid of it. But then like a month and a half later, you'll look at it and say, I don't remember if it was really that bad. And so you'll get another can. If I keep my interactions down to half a can with everybody, we're fine. If it goes over half a can, you can just write it off at that point.
Yeah.
So, man, I wish my mic was muted on that one. It's so embarrassing.
Anyway.
All right. So that's your biscuit. Anybody else have biscuit recipes?
What was that, Michael?
I said, well, does anybody else have biscuit recipes? Because, I mean, like, I think everybody in the world knows Richard's biscuit recipe. Except we don't use oil. We use butter.
Yeah. Oil's a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, oil's a lot easier.
I don't have a good box grater.
But if you use grated butter or melted butter in between those layers as you're folding it, you get the liquid and you get better defined layers.
That requires effort too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would also add that using low protein flour
Mm-hmm.
Leads to better biscuits. They have
Aren't how much protein's actually in flour? I thought flour was all carbs.
It's like 11%.
Are you sure? I thought
It's not
flour
all
was.
carbs.
And if you get it down to like 8%, I think it's called. I read this in an article. I think it's called King Arthur flour. And there's some others that
Oh,
do the low protein also, but um, this makes the really good Southern biscuits.
okay, okay. And what defines a Southern biscuit versus like a Northern biscuit? Their political affiliation, the industrialization of it. It's more home styley down south versus like more machine processed up north. Accent.
Let's see. How can I say this? Let's see.
In a kind way?
In a kind way or a nice way. You don't even have to worry
No,
about
no.
that.
I was gonna go.
Say,
I was gonna go with
funny.
Tenet number 3.
Right.
Be funny.
I choose tenant number 3. I'm gonna be funny. Well, I
how
like
much air? Basically how fluffy it is, how airy it is.
I could say something like, so you're calling Northerners dense, but it's like,
I just assumed that Southern biscuits were made from buttermilk rather than some other kind of.
That's an assumption. We use buttermilk all the time up in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Buttermilk.
Well, South
pancakes.
Dakota, especially Western South Dakota, is like the crossroads of America. So you get people from all over.
Well, you get a lot of Swedish and Norwegian people up there.
They spill over from East River.
Mm-hmm.
So you get those Central Europeans and Northern Europeans spilling over from East River.
Minnesota
but
too.
Because of the gold rush, you get a lot of people from coal mining areas.
Uh-huh.
Italians and Welsh and Croatia, I think.
Well,
anywhere that there's lots of mining going on, people from those places would come to the Black Hills to participate in the gold mine, the gold rush. And so you get a pretty cosmopolitan area compared to East River, where each town was its own ethnic makeup. The ethnic groups would gather together in the towns, whereas in the Black Hills area, there's a lot more mixing.
Yeah, I could see that. There wasn't a lot of mixing between classes, but there was a lot of mixing between the lower classes.
Well, the miners would mix. And there was also a interestingly large amount of Texas influence from cattle drives bringing meat up to the gold rush. So the guy who built the Matthews Opera House was a Texas cattleman to begin with, and he made his money in cattle and then built the Opera House in Spearfish there.
Built the Opera House?
I thought the cattle were all brought up to like Chicago.
Oh, no.
Because of the trains, centralized train there.
So anything that was bound for the East Coast, would come up to Chicago. But you had these pockets of industry, in this case, the industry being the mining industry, in different places west of there that needed food too. And so there would be cattle drives coming up, through Colorado up to the mining districts.
Well, plus Montana and South Dakota and Wyoming had large cattle sections anyway. And so they had to shift. They had to ship that back out, which went to Chicago too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Once the railroads got to the Black Hills, then it was a lot easier to have your local cattle and export to Chicago.
Aren't you from like the Chicago area, Robert?
Detroit.
So trying to show a little bit more importance than the rest of us from the Midwest. Is that what you're pushing there?
No, not at all.
My ancestors.
Now, I will say that the traffic to Chicago probably was an order of magnitude bigger than the traffic to, the Western Plains, but The Western Plains
probably
chocolate
more
did
than just
exist.
one order of magnitude.
Yeah,
Maybe so. At least one order of magnitude.
yeah. And now we're off and running on cows now versus biscuits.
Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Is it? Are you having cow for dinner tonight?
No.
Biscuits?
Biscuits? Are you
Wasn't
having
planning
biscuits?
on having biscuits either. I might end up making soup. I've got some chicken thawed. I'm going to put that in the Instant Pot and some taco seasoning.
Mm.
And I think my plan is to make enchiladas with that.
Well,
You're
you know,
gonna shred the chicken?
Yeah. Yep, that's the idea. Shred the chicken, wrap it up in tortilla, and then spread enchilada sauce over top. I use green sauce, but I'm not against red sauce.
Yeah, Doctor.
Well, I'm
like
in
it with green
Albuquerque,
sauce.
so we do Christmas down here.
Doctor Jess makes up a pan of that for the week occasionally because it's easy to reheat and everything like that.
Yeah.
Personally, I can't stand that
again.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
I never lived down in Texas like you two, so yeah.
I saw a very neat little gadget on one of those big websites that sells everything. I'm not going to do a direct plug, but basically it's a small little thing about this big. It's got spikes on the top and the bottom, but they slide in between each other.
Uh-huh.
And it's got a couple handles that you twist back and forth, and it's intended to shred chicken. And it takes about 10 seconds to shred an entire chicken breast.
You mean
With
like
no
you just
messer.
use 2 forks, but
on bone?
Well,
are you
Cook
talking?
it
Are
right.
you talking on bone?
No, of course not. That would tear up. That would tear up the plastic.
You know how? you know how I do it. The easiest way is you throw it in an Instapot and you cook it for 10 minutes, and then it just all falls apart.
you just use like 2 forks to break it up more.
Like I said,
the forks. Yeah.
Forks work great.
Yeah, the Instapot is great for that.
Yeah.
So you almost can't do anything. You almost don't have to do anything more violent than look at it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
true.
if you cook it with like some salsa or
Oh, yeah.
like whatever, then it just that's how I used to make them.
My favorite thing about the Instapot is risotto. Because, like, if you're going to make risotto and you're going to make real risotto, it takes like a freaking hour and a half of standing next to the stove and adding like a little bit of chicken broth in at a time over and over. And it took. Now I can do risotto in 10 minutes. Boom. And it tastes just as good as I spent an hour and a half over on the freaking stove. I'm like, wow, I'm all for this. That's the whole best part about having an Instant. We don't use it enough. We do use it for soup. I do make a lot of soup.
I bought one. I used it once, and now it's been in the garage for 2 years.
Yeah, that's.
Other than getting like one of those Fuzzy Logic Zoritsu rice makers, the Instapot makes the best rice I've had.
Versus
That's a really good Instapot.
I could just
rice.
make rice like on the stove, so it's pretty easy.
Well,
I mean,
that's another one where you need to pay attention to it while it's cooking. It's not difficult.
You don't need to
but
pay
you do have
attention to
to pay
rice.
attention.
You just cook it for 20 minutes. It does its own thing.
It does its own thing.
It knows what to do.
You can do it with the microwave too. You just dump it in water.
Oh my
put it
god,
in
my
there.
mom was such a Nazi about the rice. Like, if you even think about touching the lid in that 20 minutes, she would like scream at you, like, "Oh, don't even touch! Don't look at it! Don't think about the rice!" Like, she was so weird about it. Yeah, but it's good rice, so I mean, that's how I do it. Because of her.
Back to
So this is like community, isn't it?
seriously, you can
Sharing
drive an
recipes.
entire conversation. That's one thing you can sit down with, regardless of political ideology, but regardless of religious ideology, regardless of pretty much any ideology. You could always share recipes with people. It's not like I make my sugar cookies with just a pinch of hate. I
I'm
had
sure
a
to stare at the picture of those bad people while I do them.
yeah. I just
I don't want any. I don't want any of that Democrat flour.
yeah, yeah.
You know, another thing that I think of when I think of enchiladas is funeral food.
Really?
I can understand.
Yeah.
I could understand that because every time I'm forced to eat them, it feels like I'm gonna die.
Well, the reason that pops into my head is that my ex-father-in-law passed away, and he was the mayor of a small town in Texas. You know Caldwell, Robert, out in
Yeah.
Burleson County.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the mayor of Caldwell for a
Oh.
long time. And he passed away in a car accident. But the whole town was bringing food over to the house. And it was, I mean, it's one of the few things that you can do when to say, hey, I'm here for you. This is a difficult time, and planning meals and doing grocery shopping and stuff is all very mundane when you're dealing with difficult stuff. So people get together or sometimes they don't get together, but they just bring food. And then those of us who are involved in the mourning process at the time don't have to worry about. Now, I will say that when the decedent is the mayor and the entire town is bringing food over, it gets a little overwhelming sometimes, but
Well, that's called potluck. That's when you have more people over.
Well,
yeah, well,
with Richard talking about getting to hate enchiladas, I know where this story is going now.
Oh, I didn't hate enchiladas.
No,
That
that's
just
me. That's me.
That's just the story it reminds me of.
Ah,
How does that
Yeah,
work?
because he said he was going to make enchiladas tonight, so I don't think he hates them.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
my question is, Richard was talking about how cooking food at that point in time when some issue like that happens is mundane. I'm like, well, what is it elsewhere when you're cooking food for you every night? Is it like exciting? Is it thrilling? Or is
for
it
some
When
people,
you have so much else going on, it's nice to not have to worry about these mundane things that somebody else can take care of for you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're saying cooking food in general is mundane.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you can certainly make an effort to make it not,
Such as?
such as when you pull out the cookbook and go diligently searching for that fancy thing that you had on your first date, and you spend time to get it just right so that you can have a nostalgic anniversary dinner. That's not mundane.
So what did you
So
cook on
there's
your
a lot of
first
romantic-
date? I'm just assuming that you're talking about your first date, or are you talking about the first date with your wife?
I'm just speaking
trying to-
in general. I'm not talking in
I
particular.
think my first date was at McDonald's with somebody, but I'm just trying to remember.
My first date with my current wife was karaoke. Oh, talk about community.
No, no. The Cult of Renderdeus is a very strict line on karaoke, largely because I can't even do Tenet 3 when karaoke's around. I actually have to go all force Tenet 5 at that point. Unless I'm like really drinking a lot, and since I don't drink anymore, it's definitely a tier 5 event. So
well, it's a tier 4 event for the most part, unless the other participants should be participating with Tenet 4, and you want Tenet 5 then.
I try to figure out ways to fit Tenet 3 in there. But that's one of those terms where punching down is just by default. It's just, you just gotta walk away.
I went to a piano bar with some friends that I knew from online, and one of the participants really thought she was an opera singer. That was a lot of Tenet 3.
A lot of Tenet 3. Yeah.
Every day is karaoke for me in the car,
Well, okay,
in my head,
that's different.
when I'm,
That's different karaoke. Yeah, that's
oh,
me all
okay.
the time too.
And I know every word to every song, but only when it's playing. When it's off, then I don't know the words anymore. So
Nah, you just make up
that's
words
my
as you go along.
superpower.
You just go along
No,
with
I
words.
just know all the words, and then when it's off,
We had
The,
a
the musicians sometimes get them wrong, but
well, actually, there's a funny story about that. Um, if you remember ELO's "Don't Bring Me Down,"
uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so the actual words "Don't Bring Me Down, Goose," it's a German term that everybody was using, that everybody thought it was, but it was a German term. And I don't remember what's from, so I don't remember the entire story. But I remember what happened was everybody, even like the studio members of the band, thought it was this one word, which it wasn't. And so
Now, see, I thought it was Bruce.
yeah,
I thought it was
Bruce,
Bruce
but it's
too.
not.
Bruce.
It's not Bruce. It's a German term for like whatever or something like that. But they just said, okay, whatever, and so they just started doing Bruce with it. So misheard lyrics that are actually we had I had a discussion with somebody once who didn't realize that Kim Mitchell's song "Go for a Soda" was really "Go for a Soda."
I
Might as
didn't
well
think it
go for a
was.
soda. Nobody hurts and nobody cries. Do you know that one?
Do.
No.
Might as
Might
well
as well
go for a soda. Nobody drowns and nobody
dies.
dies.
Literally 2 seconds ago, you guys were just bagging on karaoke.
This is not
I wasn't.
karaoke.
It sounds just as bad.
I'm not. I'm not half drunk, and I'm not in front of a crowd of millions of people. I'm only in front of the one person who's actually watching us.
Does acapella count as karaoke?
I don't know. I've never met
I
Al
don't know.
Capoa.
He's cool. You might like him.
He's Capone's little brother.
I think maybe he's the brother of Al Dente, but I'm not sure.
That's the third cousin.
That's the third cousin. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, Al Dente.
I'm a
brings
big
us
fan
back
of
to
karaoke,
food.
and I'm a big proponent of karaoke. I think that everybody should feel free to stand up and belt out whatever it is,
Well,
whether
you
you're
might-
any good or not.
you
As
might
far as
have
I'm concerned,
Sing like no
karaoke
one's
is about
watching.
making a joyful noise.
Sing like no one's watching. Dance like everyone has steel toe shoes.
There you
Thank you, Elaine. Have you ever seen her dance? Do you remember that from Seinfeld?
I
The
do.
Elaine dance?
I didn't watch much of Seinfeld.
Oh man, the Elaine dance. Yeah, it was a good one.
She looked like she was having spasms.
Yeah. But she thought she was a good dancer. I agree. I think we need to embrace karaoke now. I don't think we have a choice. I think we have to embrace karaoke now, Richard, because following our tenet of failure is not an option, karaoke is rife for practicing that.
No. Failure is a requirement.
Exactly. And karaoke by default is a failure for most anybody who does it.
Yeah, you said failure wasn't an option.
No. The tenet is the failure is not an option. It's mandatory for our group.
Okay.
See, so since it's
You didn't
mandatory,
finish that.
I was seeing how many people actually read the stuff we wrote down about this stuff, Richard. Robert, see, I
You
failed
wrote
there
something
too.
down about this?
We wrote stuff
Look,
down about this.
I do concepts. I don't memorize.
It's not really a tough doctrine, Robert. It's we're really bad at this. I mean, like, technically if we were a real cult, there'd be like, all sorts of stuff you'd have to abide by and do.
I thought you were going to say whips and.
No.
I don't know. Lately, I've been feeling like I've been having to abide by a lot of things. No.
Anyway, because there's two different things. Remember, there's abscordism and there's abscordism, which Richard found a clever way to make both words pronounced the same way for me because it
Oh
makes it
my
easier
God.
for me. But there is the philosophy behind it, and then there's the application of the philosophy. So we do have a solid, grounded philosophy, but nobody can really apply it 100% of the time, which is why we have the other area. So we just muddle through it as best we can. So we have a dogma that's sort of like more of suggestions.
Yep. Guidelines.
And
It's not rules so much as guidelines.
I don't. That is amazing. I complain about that at work all the time. They're always like, you can't say standardization. You can't say governance. You can't say policy. It's only recommendations.
Oh my God, I hear that all the time. And I'm too. Like, that must be a college thing.
No,
it's a weird college thing because they have lots of standards, and they have lots of what were the other words you used, Michael?
Policy.
They have lots of policies.
Because you can't say them unless the governing board or whatever makes it so. So until they make it so, you can't say those words, because I get yelled at for it all the time.
Well, but yeah, see, it's a while. Some universities, I guess, are fairly rigid, but I think those are like the Southern Christian-based ones that are private. But like in a large university, I found out largely, unless there's a lot of centralization, it's largely the Wild West. And so instead of having policies that you apply, you're sort of like one of those judge marshals that goes around between towns, and like once a month you'll show up at the Department of English and say, this is what you're supposed to do, and get after people who aren't doing it. And then you won't come back around for another 3 months. And so people will just start doing what they wanted to do in the first place.
Wow. I need a job there, so you can't be held to standards.
You had a job at a place like that before called AOL.
Oh.
Not every department was
real Wild
to the
West.
Same. Like I said, not every department was held to the same standard. They just do their own
things. Like,
yeah.
See,
it's hard. I know. I have the yeah. It is like that though, because I do deal with that with the college. They all have their own like whatever is going on.
It's a big deal with AI software now all over the country, not only in business world, but in, education field and everything like that, where people will be like, oh yeah, can I use this software? I don't know if I can use this software. Can I do this with it? And you're like, I guess so, maybe, possibly. Don't do stupid stuff.
I think that's why our college like went all in on that whole thing. Like it was even in the news, I think, but we just we're like, screw it. We can't fight it. So let's just totally embrace it. We have like AI immersion days and I don't know. And I'm kind of sick of hearing about it.
And I'm doing a series of workshops on generative AI, but at the same time, you get that whole thing like with DeepSeek, DeepSeek was an amazing piece of technology because, it functioned close to what ChatGPT did. The thing about it was there was the open source model you could download and attach to an LLM on your local machine. And then there was the one that was hosted in China, which is what the phone app's connected to. And the local hosted model worked pretty good, but the one in China wouldn't be able to tell you who Winnie the Pooh was. Amazingly. Yeah. Nothing happened.
It would type out this long paragraph explaining things, and then it would disappear.
Yep. We did that. Tiamat Square was a great one, too. Nothing happened. I go, well, look up online and see if anything did happen. And it'd come back with a whole list of newspaper articles on the side where it showed the links it researched. And then it would respond, nah, nothing really happened. But it would show you all the stuff that it looked at. So you had all the links. It was like, AI, go figure. And I think we're being prompted to go back to soup or something like that.
Or something like that.
I just saw the typing. I didn't even have to read the comment. It was like...
So the community that I deal with is the homeless services community. And the thing that's weird about them with respect to rules and regulations and things is that they live in a world with lots and lots of rules from the federal government with regard to the data that they need to collect. And then they don't like it, so they try to live by their own rules. And they ask me for help in doing it their way instead of the right way.
Well, this goes back to recommendations as opposed to policy, and I think we see right now in this country as a whole, all federal regulations and policies are now really just suggestions and
No,
recommendations.
they're suggestions for some, requirements for others.
The
They're
real
different
problem with
departments.
federal government rules right now is that they're in flux, and nobody really knows what the rules are going to shake out to be, if they're ever going to shake out to be anything.
You know what?
Well, for security, there's a legal reporting requirement involving all communications, unless, of course, they don't want them to be.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still a law in the books.
Yeah,
It's not a suggestion. It's not a requirement. It's the law.
only if it's enforceable. If it's not enforceable, why bother with it?
Well, that's just it. It's a law for some, but not for others.
Now you're describing the USSR in the 1980s.
No, I'm describing the USA of 2025.
Same thing, honestly.
Well, that's because the same person's in charge.
You're right. You're right, because he was the head of the KGB back then. But here's the best thing about everything that's going on, because we look at positive stuff, and with everything that's going on, I'm really, really expecting, with this whole new push on everything, that we're going to see the return of government cheese.
Oh, that'd be great.
No,
we had a lot of government cheese in the
But
80s.
what is Elon Musk
Yeah.
going to do with a
We used to get it all
ton
the
of
time.
cheese?
No. He is cheese, and I'm not talking about that type of cheese, because he's just cheese in and of itself. I'm talking about that real big, huge block of government cheese.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
5-pound block
Gosh, that
of,
was
I remember
of,
that
of
cheese. It
cheddar
was good.
cheese.
That they
That-
gave away to poor people. Do you really
Yeah.
see this government giving anything away to poor people?
well. The
No.
farmers have to get rid of that food some way, because they can't sell it anywhere else. So they're gonna
Well,
have
yeah,
to hand
They're
it
going to be
out.
losing their farms this year too.
Well, the corporations are going to give food.
Look how quickly we went political.
Well,
We should have put a timer up.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
time until
That's true.
political talk
Hey, we
starts.
made 43 minutes. Mark
Yeah.
off 5 minutes for things, but we can go back to food, because food is political too.
Well, this once again involves community.
Well, here's a food and community and political all in one.
Yeah, government cheese.
No, fondue.
Ew.
Fondue. If you go to a
You
restaurant,
gather around to eat it.
yeah, you gather around to eat it. But if you go to a restaurant and you're paying fondue and they're making you do the work, don't you deserve some sort of federal compensation, because you're doing the work of cooking the food?
Why federal? Well, why not from the store?
Well, I mean, if it's a chain, of course. But maybe you should get a tax break at least on the meal, because you're doing the work.
No, you didn't rent a yacht for it.
Don't make fun of people who I like fondue. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I'm making fun of people with yachts. People with fondue, I'd be punching down.
That's what
People with yachts, I'm
Okay.
punching up.
Yeah, because I remember when we were not rich, when I was a kid, fondue was still a staple meal at the house. Love fondue. Oil fondue. The oil fondue with the tempura batter? Robert remembers fondue. He was the first person who took me out
You
to
know
the
what? I
melting
don't
pot.
think I've ever had fondue.
Actually, you guys were the ones that took me to the first time I had ever had fondue at the melting pot.
Oh, so Tara was the one that took all three of us to the melting pot. Remember when we
Hi,
almost
Tara.
got
Me?
not
I-
that Tara, the other. Remember when we got almost kicked out of the cab because I was coughing so bad?
I remember Tara drinking that entire bottle of
I
wine
remember
by herself.
you drinking an entire bottle too.
No, I didn't
Oh.
drink that night because I didn't want to help pay for that bottle of wine.
Oh, that's right.
That
You
shit
were
was
driving.
expensive. Yeah, I was driving.
When did you guys drink that bottle of wine? Because I remember you and Tara did.
Didn't. Tara drank it by herself.
I have to
I feel
ask
like you
Doctor.
guys, you guys You have to change that person's name. It's like you're talking
No,
about
and
me.
when you guys came over and played Paranoia that night, though, people brought over bottles of wine. Had tacos.
Well, I had tacos at your place half the time I was over there.
Yeah, but it was when you and Tara came over.
That
We
doesn't
played
help
Paranoia.
narrow it down.
You made Dr. Jess cry and storm out of the room. That was a good night.
Well, that's easy to do.
How did I make Dr. Jess cry?
It was that card game Paranoia where we had to sit there and figure out remove the last card, ignore the last card, counter the last card, because everybody kept playing the same reverse counter and everything. Actually, she was just using it as a emotional maneuver to get her advantage, like she did when she played Junta. She said to go back to topic though, so
Yes,
we'll have to wait for this
because we started making fun of her. No,
I'm not making fun of her. She's brutal at games. We were playing Junta.
We just switched topics from food to games, which we were planning to do anyway.
Well, and it's all community.
Well, yes, especially when you're in the same location playing together.
I want to be. I'm corrected.
As opposed to being together and playing on your phones.
I
iPads.
stand corrected that she didn't cry. I think she threw something at you.
that
I'm
sounds
not
like
sure.
her. That's believable.
Yeah, she never cries like that. But she does assassinate her husband on the first turn of a game. I got ganged
Well, you
up.
were the traitor.
I got ganged up on the first turn by 7 people because they all said, well, it's Michael's game. He owns it. He must be really good at this. And I'm like, this is the first time I've ever played it in my life. How can I be good at this? But
This is the second time you've brought this up in a talk thing. I think you need to see somebody about it. I think it's like you've got like some deep seated like stuff happening because of that.
Well, see, the problem
trauma.
is we can't send him to see
Trauma.
Dr. Jess. Obviously,
Yep.
that's a conflict. We can't send him to Dr. It just says Dr. T now.
It should just be Dr. T.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can't send him to Dr. T because she would automatically side with Dr. Jess.
That's not true. That is not. If you knew me at all,
I will
you would
have
know
you
that's
know
not
that
true.
almost everybody I've gone to see
But I'm not a
has
psychologist.
sided with Dr. Jess at least partially. Wait a second. Wait.
Well,
Anyway.
partially is not a problem. It's when it's 100%, there's a problem.
Sous vide.
Sous vide? Yeah.
Sous vide. Best steak in the world. Best prime rib in the world.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad your biscuits are, as long as you like sous vide your prime rib. See, I'm back on topic, okay? I'm trying to get back on topic.
But you've got to do the sear after.
Oh, yeah. You have to do the sear correctly after.
Because if you don't do the sear after, it looks like 3-day-old meat. Like it's just been sitting out.
Well, technically, it has been. It's been sitting in water at a certain temperature for 3 days. We always cook ours for at least 2 days.
3 days?
Yeah, we always cook ours at least 2 days. Oh my God!
What?
Yeah.
Does it liquefy in the bag?
No. Red meat doesn't. White meat does. Red meat doesn't. Really, unless you.
Well, are you talking fish or are you talking turkey?
I'm talking any white meat, turkey, chicken, anything more than like 2 hours. It just melts. But red meat, you can keep red meat in there for like hamburger. You can, of course, but
hamburger's ground, yeah.
Yeah, but like a prime rib or a steak or anything like that, trust me.
You don't want to sous vide ground meat, because ground meat you have to get to 165 all the way through. A steak you don't have to. You just want to break down the fat so that it's juicy, but you don't need to get the internal temperature of a steak to 165 because you can't get contamination inside the steak, only on the surface.
Surprisingly, there's plenty of restaurants I've gone to will serve you rare hamburgers. So, yuck.
Yeah,
Anyway,
there, and it's crazy.
it is.
Rare ground meat is stupid.
On another note, food and community. Here's a trivia question for anybody out there. What Robert Altman movie, which was a musical, had a song specifically about food and community?
It was Robert Altman.
That's what I was thinking.
No,
I'm glad
I
you
know I've
said
heard
it
the name. I
first.
don't have a good feel for what
I'll give you a hint.
work he's done.
I'll give you a hint, and if you can't get it after this hint, I'm gonna kick you all out. It's a movie with Robin Williams and Shelley Duvall in it, and it came out right after The Shining.
Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, that was
Hold on a second.
Oh,
Howard
Popeye?
Fields.
That was
Oh
my
yeah,
desk.
Popeye.
Shelley Duvall wasn't in Mrs. Doubtfire, and Mrs.
was it-
Doubtfire came in.
Was it Popeye?
Yes. Yes, literally. There's a song in the Popeye movie called "Food."
That was a musical?
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite musicals of all time. I mean,
I don't, clearly I don't remember it.
you should go back and watch it because it
Okay.
was really underrated at the time.
Did you
It
know
had
you can still go see the set of it though? Like it's still
Yes.
up on whatever island.
it's
it was
actually
made on?
it's actually turned into a small amusement park
Yeah.
off the coast of Greece. I wanted to go there, but the plane tickets to go see it were. But Sweet Haven was actually constructed on this island, and Sweet Haven has this thing, and there's a whole song, in the morning that talks about food. Everything is food, food, food.
Well, I think was it you I was discussing with the other day that the basis for community is food?
Well, yeah, we're hunter gatherers.
The basis for society is food.
Thank you, wheat.
Well-
Low protein wheat.
Yeah, I don't think the gluten intolerant will be thankful, but
Well, I don't know. You can have. There's gluten-free wheat.
well, you can have gluten-free
well, I guess,
oats.
No, there's gluten-free. Well, I don't know. There's a technical question about that because the wheat we have, there's so many different types of wheat, really, that have like these weird mixes on them. It's weird because my family's gluten intolerant, not allergic, but gluten intolerant, and we did a lot of research on what to make things out of because we're a bread and meat family. You know, for a long time we were just carnivores in general, and then we branched out as we evolved. I guess that's how to put it. But the point of the matter is, Popeye, go watch it.
I have.
When?
That's how I recognized
When
it.
was the last time you watched it?
When it
When
came
did
out.
it come out?
When it came out, 78. Okay, it came out in like 78, 79.
No, it was later than that.
No.
No, yeah.
No. Let me see. Now I have to check because I always have to know what's right. When?
You said it was after The Shining.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Shining. The Shining came out in, I think, 79. Maybe it was 80 and everything. 1980. So it was 1980, Popeye the Musical, because The Shining came out right before it.
I was one.
My parents wouldn't take me to see it. I wanted to go see it, but my parents wouldn't take me to see it. And then all my friends who saw it said it sucked. And I was like,
Let's
oh,
see.
okay, so it sucked. Shelley Duvall.
Popeye's 1980. Shining's 1980.
Yeah, so they must have been really. Yeah, Shelley Duvall got traumatized by Stanley Kubrick and refused to work with him ever again after how he treated her during The Shining.
Well, yeah. I mean, like he didn't tell her about the axe coming through the door.
Oh, he didn't tell her about anything. He like isolated her as much as he possibly could. He was like literally abusive and everything. Of course, she was amazing in that role because of the realist. She was like Heath Ledger in terms of character acting with not character acting, but what do you call that, Richard? When you immerse yourself in the character.
Method acting.
Yeah. She was like one of the a real diehard method actor who didn't ever want to be a method actor or expected to be a method actor. That's why she never would work with Kubrick again. She almost didn't work with Altman, but he got her to do Olive Oil. That was really good. But that was a really good. We have a theater in town called The Loft, and we were dealing with Shelley Duvall passed away, and so they had like a bunch of movies. They showed up on the big screen of hers in remembrance, and so I got to go see Popeye on the big screen 48 years after I should have been able to, or 40 years after.
You know
I
what?
should
I
have been
did the
able to.
same thing with Labyrinth. I got to go see that on the big screen, and not a couple years ago.
I saw
So
that.
I get that.
I saw that 3 times on the big screen when it came out.
Oh, I don't know if I did or not, but
Were you around in 87?
I was born in '79. So, yeah,
Yeah. Age appropriate even.
I just don't remember if my mom took me or not. Like I don't
Nah,
remember.
nobody took it. It almost bankrupted Henson.
Yeah, I think
and it
that-
almost bankrupted, what was it, Henson and Disney? No, it was... Which 2 studios did that? Lucas and Henson. It almost bankrupted Lucas and Henson. And in fact, because of the money it lost, I do believe that was the reason Henson had to sell the Muppets to Disney.
That's a shame.
Labyrinth was a massive, massive failure in the box office. It was a massive success on VHS, though, when it came out. But it's one of my favorites. Did you know they made a Commodore 64 game based on it?
Really?
Yep, LucasArts put out a Labyrinth video game for the Commodore 64.
I'm surprised that it came close to bankrupting Lucas because, even that early on, he had 100% of the merchandising for Star Wars.
Yeah, he had
Right,
Star
but you
Wars
got to remember
money.
this was 87 and was several years after Return of the Jedi. and
That's
they
that's a decade after the original movie came out.
Right. And I think it was 87. It was around there. But the point of the matter is Lucas hadn't done anything for the longest time.
He didn't need to.
Well, he obviously should have, since he spent a bunch of money on that movie and it didn't pay back that much. He did do a lot of he was breaking into video games at the time. Here's a funny thing. The Labyrinth video game for the Commodore 64, was one of the first games that used an early version of an engine, a computer engine for games that Lucas used very effectively for games like Maniac Mansion, Sam and Max Hit the Road, and Full Throttle. Robert, do you know what the name of that game engine was?
The game engine?
Yeah.
No, that was long before I was in the video game industry.
How old are you?
I'm a few years older than you.
Yeah, okay, I remember.
Before I was in the industry, not before I was gaming.
It was the Scum engine. They called it the Scum. It's like the menu and the click-through adventure stuff like they had for Maniac Mansion and Maniac Mansion 2 and Sam and Max Hit the Road and Full Throttle, where you had the icons and then you'd walk around and you almost... Monkey Island was built... All those games were built on the same gaming engine.
Okay.
The Labyrinth.
See, I didn't
was
play
the
those
first
others,
game.
but I played Monkey Island.
You didn't play the others? Sam and Max Hit the Road was like the best. Nope. All right. Well, this leads into our next section on... Okay. This leads into our next section based upon comments from the Peanut Gallery. So we're going to go ahead and look on... Let's go ahead and look at our games type stuff and some information about that. And then we'll come back and talk about what we're trying to do in supporting communities with virtual worlds.
Well, looking at
When was the last time you felt actually in control of your life? not sorted your inbox type of in control. I mean the slayed a dragon, romanced a blacksmith, and terraformed a planet before lunch type of in control. Whether it has been a while, or you just finished an all-night campaign to top your best score on Mario Kart, at the Cult of Brighter Days, we know that gaming isn't just escape, it's spiritual. We value that sacred digital sanctuary where reality gets paused and you get to play. Because out here, the world's glitching, your calendar's judging you, and your fridge may or may not contain a new life form. But in there, you're thriving. You're farming parsnips, building empires, and yelling, "I need more lettuce," at your friends in Overcooked. If you're channeling rage through Doom Eternal, befriending villagers in Stardew Valley, or losing track of time while trying to perfect your in-game bathroom layout, you're reclaiming peace in pixels. And hey, if you've ever wished you could game, laugh, and lose your existential dread with others just as weird and wonderful as you, we've got something special dropping this weekend on our live broadcast. Let's just say virtual sanctuaries are about to go multiplayer. So if you needed permission to escape for a bit, this is it. Game. Heal, laugh, restart. Catch the announcement. Join the party. And for all things joyful, absurd, and slightly on fire, come visit thecultofbrighterdays.com. We'll be there with snacks and possibly a haunted goose. Miss it, and you'll never know if it was real.
Are we in commercial?
Now we're out of commercial.
We're out or in?
Out. We're out. Robert.
Oh, okay.
Robert had to leave, but the three of us are still here, and we're going to talk about communities in gaming and virtual communities. And did you know that's an actual trending topic on YouTube?
Virtual
That
communities.
makes sense.
Yeah, virtual communities, because that's the only way you can really get away from all this crap going on. And
That's the only way my son has friends at the moment, because he doesn't go. He's homeschooled.
That's a weird thing. When we grew up, we didn't have that option, so we actually had to play with the kids down the street and everything.
I didn't play with any kids down the street.
Did you have any kids down the street?
There were a few.
Really? Did they not
They
like
were
you?
all girls.
So you were a firmly established sexist in the beginning? What? I mean,
I was kind of a loner from the beginning. So even if there were boys down the street, I wouldn't have necessarily gone out to play. I played with my brothers and sisters, or at the time, brother and sister. But mostly I'd ride my bike up and down the street around the backyard.
we had Star Wars figures, and I had a coolest tree stump that was upside down in the yard with all the roots sticking out, which made a great battle area.
Mm.
Then we had fireworks and firecrackers, but I still was a loner most of the time. I lived in the library, which was across the alleyway from us.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like an ultimate geek and everything. And then when we got into junior high and I got into games, that was pretty much it for me. Focused on music and games and music and everything.
I was the only child. I don't know.
Is
I
that
didn't have any
because
brothers or
is that
sisters.
because nobody else liked you enough to get born?
That's actually might be true. Actually, my mom lost every kid she tried to have
Oh.
before and after me.
How,
So how I am here, like, we don't know. Like, I don't know.
well, we're glad
yeah.
you're here.
Yeah, I shouldn't be though.
We're
Like,
glad you're here.
I'm an anomaly over here.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah. That's some amazing power to stay an only child. I wish I had that when when my mom had my sister. I love my sister, but she ruined my life. I had all the attention, I had all the affection, and then this thing comes along and takes away a large chunk of it.
But
Oh
aren't you
wait, this is
glad you have
broadcast.
somebody?
Oh my goodness gracious.
Aren't
I
you
love
glad you have
you.
because like when you're older, I guess that's the way I always thought of it. Like when you're older, at least you have like someone you can call
Yeah.
or whatever. Like I don't really have anyone like that that I can talk to, you know.
Oh, I pissed my
So,
younger sister off, and she didn't talk to me for like 20 years.
oh,
So, yeah. Yeah, we're doing better now. But yeah, that was sort of scary on that one. So, what do you, Dr. T, you play a lot of video games,
yes, I do.
but do you play a lot of online video games or have a community around those, or how
No,
do you do that?
I used to play Ultima Online. Do you remember Ultima Online?
Oh, yeah, one of the very first
Yeah.
MMOs.
Oh my God, I made so much money on that game. Um, selling the stuff on eBay or whatever. Like you make the accounts and then
Yeah.
anyways, I played that. And I had a huge like I had a guild and we had friends and we would talk and sometimes I miss them. I'm still friends with one of the people on like Facebook. We still talk. She lives in Canada. Super nice lady. Um, but I quit playing it. Don't really remember why. And then lately, like just the games that I've been playing is like like
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. I know Borderlands I could play with other people. And I beg like my kids or anyone I meet, like I'm like, come on, like I would love to try to play with other people, but I don't know how to find people to play with. So
Well,
but Borderlands is probably my other favorite
it's hard to
one.
find people who aren't like screaming racist or stuff like that on live chat. It seems like
Yeah.
I can't stand to play with people I don't know on live chat with stuff because largely they,
Yeah, I don't look for people like that. I would only do it if I knew the person.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some things like we're going to talk about some things that have communities up around them. We're going to talk about some virtual game servers that we've brought up and everything. Um, Strangely enough, the servers are weirdly quiet, um, which I sort of like, but it would be good to have more people participating in them and doing things together. We found that out when we started doing a test of Minecraft for education at the university recently. And it's actually pretty fun to be mucking around in there. We do a session where we all get together every Tuesday and Thursday at lunchtime and play around. And there's three of us in there that are doing stuff all the time, um, which is strange because we're the 50-year-olds playing Minecraft. But we have like 4 or 5 people that constantly log into the stream and watch us play. One of them described it as watching the Three Stooges try to learn how to code something because we were having problems with redstone. But it's entertaining just to watch people. And that's one reason I think there's all these Minecraft videos out there of people just playing, or Minecraft YouTube channels with people just playing Minecraft, is because people can watch them and get a feel for a sense of community without even actually participating in one type thing like that. But the Valheim is another one that we've got multiplayers on that we've been doing multiplayer. Me and Richard have been playing that for quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
we see Robert Shop drop in on that from time to time.
Yep, Robert. I came in on it a couple times, but I've been really working on the Minecraft server. And we also have a Wyland server, which is probably one of the most obscure games that hardly anybody knows about. But the advantage of that one is you can play that on your iPad or your phone or your computer and have a community exploration. That's about the best way to describe it. Community exploration type game where you build community, you can build up what you want and the people you want to be with. And so we're not going to be able to get like a real person community going very well right now because Dr. T is in California and Pope Richard is up in the Midwest and Pope Robert's down here in the Southwest.
Are you not mentioning my state because there's only 500,000 people in it and you think they'll be able to dox me?
They might be able to. After what your senator did up there in that town hall, the one who yelled at the audience that they were too focused on what the federal government was doing.
Oh,
What,
Loomis or Barrasso?
what's her name? Yeah. I'm
Loomis,
like,
she's got an office downtown. I mean, I've been meaning to walk down there and talk.
yeah, but
and
you're just going to bring up
see.
federal government stuff and everything.
Feels like they're not interested in that.
I mean, she's a federal senator. Seems like coming to her with federal stuff is the right thing to do. But the first thing I'm going to start with is I wrote a letter about a actually pretty small program, like maybe in the millions of dollars, that provided additional case management for veterans experiencing homelessness, and it was expiring. And I wrote to say, hey, you should renew this. And the letter I got back included the sentence, or the fraction of a sentence, I care about veterans, but. And that's bad enough. Putting the word but at the end of that phrase just negates the whole thing. But then she said, but it's the deficit that keeps me up at night. And I'm like, oh.
How can that keep you up at night? I mean, honestly, the whole deficit thing is such a BS smokescreen.
Well, if people weren't imminently willing to loan us money at ridiculously low interest rates, it might be something to worry about. And if they don't actually raise the debt limit and start defaulting on debt, then yeah, it will definitely be something to worry about at that point. But as it stands right now, no, it's not anything to worry about because our credit is so good. People are practically throwing money at us.
Till next month.
Yeah, till next month. We'll see how that goes.
Well, we'll see how the second shakes down. But the problem is, even if he backpedals on all that stuff, it's not going to matter because we've eroded the trust that actually built up that credit. That credit wasn't based upon anything tangible. It was based upon how people felt about us in terms of secure feelings.
Well, there's that. But it's also built on the fact that we've got really good cash flow.
Right. But that's only because we all feel good about the economy.
Well, even when our economy isn't doing great, our cash flow is still good enough that people are willing to continue to loan money to us.
Yeah.
So, but that is, your point is valid. I just wanted to make sure I'm detailed on exactly how it plays out, because if people start believing that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and all of the Republicans that are in power don't actually understand how things work and are willing to do ridiculous things and blow all that confidence, then yeah.
You're about 2 months behind the curve on this one. You do realize you're about 2 months behind the curve on that. But at least, because they've already done all that stuff. It just hasn't shaken down yet.
It hasn't impinged on our ability to collect money.
It takes a while to catch up. But Dr. T is actually focused on what's really necessary for this. But Dr. T is focused on what really is necessary for this. Out of everybody here, I think she is prepped for the new America more than anybody else.
I am?
Yeah. You've been playing Cyberpunk 2077 quite a bit.
So, at least I know I could like dress.
I think you have a pretty good grasp of what
I got it.
And we're going to get you to do some of that live stream for your Cyberpunk stuff. So we'll get together tomorrow and we'll work on that Twitch stream.
We're going to do something because I've done everything, so I'm bored. And
well, now you could go out there and teach people how to do things. See? So we're trying to make a community around the only thing that it's easy, other than the pool I have in my backyard and drinks, which will happen, which doesn't include other people who can just watch us do it. I'm trying to get something that we could all do together type thing. So a couple things that we have is I figured we'd showcase some of these things and show what we have set up so far. I know we don't have a ton of people who are watching us, but like I said, we can showcase this stuff in case somebody watches it later. And since I did say we were going to announce this stuff and everything, we'll go ahead and do that. But I'm going to move you guys to the side over here on the screen so I can go ahead and open up the. Well, actually, I might just minimize this totally. Let's see if I can minimize this. Boom, boom, boom. Well, let's shrink you down. There we go. Nope, that didn't shrink you down. I'm looking at how this thing is set up here, and I'm still getting the hand of. Well, shoot, let's just minimize you guys totally. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and look at a black screen here, and we'll start by looking at Valheim. And Richard, I mean, if you want to log into Valheim, since you're the one that's going to be in charge of Valheim, you can show. I'll log in, and then you can show what you've done so far in setting up the world. Give me a second. And it's a black screen. People are going to log in and say, why is there a black screen? And I'm going to say, we're still talking. It's okay. And then they'll say, I don't think so.
I'm having a wonderful time, but I'd rather be whistling in the dark.
I guess
Whistling
that's the
in
case.
dark.
I should have probably made the thing better, bigger while we were waiting for Valheim to load up. Okay, there we go. Let's see. I'm going to turn Valheim.
Well, darn, I'm on my iPad, so I can't really. I don't know how I could see what the Valheim. I'll have to watch. I'll have to watch this video later.
You have to watch the video. You have to watch the video later to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. You're just watching right now. You're just watching technical incompetence in action. So, I've got this.
Old people using new technology.
Yeah.
That's my song.
Yeah.
I made that. I wrote that. You can't steal it.
We're definitely old people. So Valheim, if anybody hasn't ever played this before, is a game about what would you describe it as, Richard? You've played this
Well,
quite
the
a bit.
description that you gave me one time that I really liked and I've kind of latched onto is it's The Sims with violence.
Okay. The Sims with violence.
Because there's a
Jessica says
significant
only old
portion
people play
of
it. Old men play it.
password. That can't be right.
What?
That's what I learned about the game. Was only old guys play it.
That's true. I
That's
don't.
what I was told by Jessica.
The
That's what you're told by
Valheim Reddit has lots of folks from all over the world, but they don't give away their age very much. So I can't. It sounds like some of them are younger.
So right now we've managed to set up a base for our cult to have our own personal place in the world
There we go.
with our meeting hall. You built this meeting hall, right, Richard?
Yes.
It's a beautiful meeting hall.
Thank you.
I
I
like
based
it.
it off of Gothic churches, Gothic cathedrals.
Gothic cathedrals and everything, but there's
another portal down there.
yeah, there's a portal because me and Robert were sailing around and we got totally lost. And hey there. So we got totally lost and we were if you look at the map, I don't know if Robert put it on the map table. Yeah, you can see on the map that there's a spot that says island over here, and we went all the way down here, and then we had to get offline, and so he took the boat, but he put a portal so I could get back here because
I saw. Yeah, I had
we have two portals.
Yeah. One goes to the elder.
Oh, I should go over and find out what's on the table, the map table. Where's the map table?
Yeah, it's back behind.
Back behind. Okay, so
Yeah, somebody came and tore it up, so I put a wall around it. You can get it from the inside too.
Oh, okay. That's good. All right. Let me look at the map now, because now I know what you and Robert had found. Wow, you really put a lot of labels down, didn't you?
I did.
That's good.
I like to make note of resources and things.
Well, that's good and everything like that. So
Do you ever notice how you're like extra organized in video game stuff, but at home it's not like that at all?
I understand how I try to be extra organized in a video game, but I fail completely after about the first. My storage chests on Ylands are a perfect example of that. Because like me and Richard have tried to sort those out a couple times, and that does not go over very
Oh,
well.
that is not the case for me at all. Like all of my stuff is all nice and neat and organized and perfect.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
but not at, like my real life. Like no.
I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to monitor the video because we don't have a producer who can actually go in here and do the video except for me. So like, I'm like, my game's on one screen and my video monitoring's on another screen. So I'm like watching the video monitoring instead of the game. But every community needs to have a sense of goals too, right, Richard?
it usually helps.
That helps. So we have some fairly mundane goals here. We did build a what did we build over here? We did build a series of docks. And we did build a boathouse. And we've sailed around, and I don't know, have you made a fortress anywhere else?
I've been rebuilding a stone castle in the Black Forest.
You've been rebuilding a stone castle in the Black Forest?
Yeah, so it's more along the lines of our bunkhouse up here than it is our commune building.
Than our commune building? I'm going to try to get this.
Yeah, but it's a decent base of operations. It's on the border between, it's on the edge of the Black Forest, next to a lake with mostly meadows on the other side of the lake.
Do you have a gateway there?
I don't.
Oh.
I haven't created a portal there.
So it's a trek there.
It's a trek, but it's pretty nearly straight west from here.
Now there's multiple biomes in this game, and we do have a community goal of spreading the good word around the virtual world. And so we plan on building places, I don't want to say places of worship because we don't really worship anything, but communal buildings in all the different biomes. What are the biomes that you have? This is the meadows.
This is the meadows.
This is the meadows.
There's Black Forest.
Black Forest, which is more dangerous than the meadows.
Yeah. And then the next most dangerous up from there is the swamp, where you're dealing, they call them draugrs, but they're basically
zombies.
Zombies.
Evil spirits.
Then there's mountains and plains.
Yeah. And then mistlands, right?
The mistlands after that. And these keep getting progressively more and more dangerous.
So it's going to be a challenge to build that communal structure.
Is it anything like Terraria?
It is, but it's like a 3D version of it. It's like a building game. It's like, think of it as Grand Theft Norwegian Viking, Grand Theft Viking. It's sort of like that. It's the same thing. It's a third-person game that you run around, but it's also largely a lot of crafting as well, where you're building structures. Like I said to Richard, and he sort of latched it, it's The Sims. You know, you have to eat. You have to eat food. You're hip. On a plus side, you don't die from starvation, which is better than a lot of those games out there.
Yeah, if you don't eat and you don't fight anything, then you'll be fine. But if you don't eat and something comes and attacks you, you're a lot easier to kill. Because
your hit points and your stamina are based upon how much food you have eaten, and the food is time. So like right here, I've eaten a mushroom, a strawberry, and a boar's leg, and so it gives me a certain amount of stamina and everything. I also got wet and fell in the water, so that means that I have debuffs. Oh, wrong weapon to use. I have one of those gray dwarf brutes. Ooh, almost killed me.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
guess I just like Terraria because I like digging around.
You
I
like
like
what?
digging around. I like to dig around and I liked Terraria because of the digging,
I don't.
like just digging and exploring
Well, yeah.
and
Yeah,
I like that.
you dig it. You can dig in this one, but it's more exploration, but you're on the surface exploration. The biomes are good. Minecraft is all about digging too, but it's also about building and everything. But this is a pretty good game if you want to have like, unlike Minecraft, and I've played Terraria. I have that, and I don't know. We could always set up a Terraria server too.
I might go back to Terraria and
if
do that.
if you did that, I can set up a server on it because we have
All right.
servers. We have our own custom servers for Valheim. We have our own custom server for Minecraft, and we have our.
Xavier and I used to play all the time together.
If you
But
like that, you might like Wylands too. Um, a lot of people don't know about Winelands. Winelands was one of the ones that was a competitor of Minecraft way back when it was first starting and everything. But not much was done with it. But you know what? Why don't we show off? Why don't we show off the Wyland server real quick, Richard? While we're because we've only got
okay.
like another half hour, so we'll cut out 15 minutes for each of the games. So Valheim, you collect a lot of resources. It's very much except unlike Terraria, which is like a 2D game. This one's
yeah,
a 3D game and everything. Um, Wylands is good. It's gotten a lot better from original, sort of, and it's gotten worse in other ways. I started playing it when it first came out, and it was one of the reasons I started playing it was because I was sort of bored with Minecraft, and it had better graphics than Minecraft, and it and it had a lot of potential. It was done by this. It's actually done by the same studio that did DayZ. If you remember DayZ, the zombie game, which was a mod for Arma before it became its own game. Arma used to be this realistic first-person shooter, like super realistic first-person shooter, but it was they made a mod for it for zombies because every game has to have a zombie mode. That's just how it is. I have a lock on my server. Okay, here we go. Go into the server. So this one has different biomes as well, from easy tropical all the way up to Arctic, much like any of the other games we play. Unlike Minecraft, where biomes are just biomes, this is more of like they get progressively difficult as you go along. But Wylands, one of the problems with this game is we don't have, like, unlike the Minecraft server we're running, we don't have full back-end control of it because we don't want to. We want that adventure feel to it. Sorry.
need a cough drop.
I know, I do. I wonder if... Oh, yeah. Somebody can comment to see if they want us to set up a Terraria server. Hold on. While I'm coughing, you guys could keep talking. I've talked about this, Richard.
I can't see
We're
what you're
doing
doing,
YouTube
and that,
here,
so
and
I don't know I don't have much to say about it.
Well, that's not that. It's just talking
Yeah.
about games in general.
Yeah.
They changed this game around again because now I can see my hands. I do not like that. I do not like seeing my hands.
I had a dream about video games last night or this morning.
What
at
was
some
your
point.
dream? What was your dream about video games?
I don't really remember. It was something. It was a parable, and I was really upset because I even said that in my dream. But it was like it would have been a cool loop game, like Ultros, the loop.
Yeah.
And it was like something to do with humanity, and like I would destroy the one thing, but then it would loop, and then by the time it came back around, then mankind or humans or whatever would have started the process over of screwing up over again.
Huh.
And so it was really clear when I woke up, and now it's a lot fuzzier. But I was like, dang, that not only it was a stupid parable, like it taught me a lesson, but like it would have been a great game, and I wish I remembered things better.
Yeah. So, hold on a second here. I'll be right back.
I guess I just
So-
dream in like movie vision or something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just got handed a cough drop.
They're very realistic.
I just got handed a cough drop.
Yay.
So, yeah. My character here needs to eat, so I have to cook. So, the servers on this game are a little weird because they're tied to the person who owns the server. And so the server travels between multitudes of islands. So you're sort of drug along with whoever's in charge of it and everything like that. But as long as there's like a consensus or anything. It's also interesting because there was a limitation on, well, it's not a limitation. It's just how many people can play on a server at a time. Which is not anything, I mean, it's not anything bad. The thing about this, are you on the game, Richard?
No,
Oh, do I have to invite you?
I don't know. I just got out of Valheim, so
Oh, you just got out of Valheim? Oh, yeah. I just saw it pop
felt like
up.
I needed to go back to the.
See, this is where we're having more fun than just sitting and talking about all the philosophy and the politics and real world. We're out here exploring in our new virtual worlds that we have. So we have a Wineland server, we have a Minecraft server, and we have a, what did I say? A Valheim server that's available for anybody who's a member of the cult, and it's free to join. You could go to our Patreon page if you wanted to. You could like and subscribe and to the video channel. That would help out too, but it's not necessary. You can also go to the website. Should put a link up for the website. Ah, what the heck? Oh my gosh, that's not cool. I'm getting attacked by a giant bird.
Oh, those giant birds on this island are.
I didn't
annoying.
pay attention, and now I'm being attacked by a giant bird. And I'm almost, but it won't follow me in the water, thank goodness. I do not like these new hands that they put in front here. These new hands are really annoying. They look silly too. But if you think of this, this is like a spot right in between Valheim and in between Minecraft in terms of graphics and in terms of like the playability and what you can do. It's not as grim and oppressive and violent. Well, it's still violent. It's pretty darn violent, but it's not as mythology based. You sail between islands, you fight off polar bears and evil spirits and things like that. I bet you money you're not on the server yet, are you?
I'm actually on the ship. I'm trying to shoot at that bird that was attacking you, but it ran behind the hill.
Oh. If you can find a bed. Oh, it's almost morning anyway. It's okay. So, yeah, this is an example. If you come on here and watch the video later, you can see my problem with managing my inventory. I have this huge boat that can store a ton of stuff, and it's all scattered. There's no like organizational mechanics to it. Which is why we really need somebody to come on and volunteer to help organize and save us from doing that. In fact, I don't even know where my weapons are, but I have a bunch of stuff in my gold pouch. So this one does have adventures on it. It does have various islands, which would be like considered small video games in and of their own right. But you can also build communal buildings And there are several islands where we've built structures, but largely you focus on your boats and building boats. If you look at a
Well, that's
map,
what I loved in Ultima Online. I loved going on the boat and fishing up stuff. That was my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I forgot that existed until just now.
oh no, that's fine. And as you can see in the world map here, there's various areas you can go to. The problem with going to them is you have to be like, oh, well, I guess I can move over to a region map without being on my boat. Usually you have to sail to the edge of the map to do that, but there's a treasure chest over there? Huh. That's interesting. I wonder who put that there, because it's out of bounds. Well, anyway. Yeah, so it's a fun and interesting game. It keeps you, we've played this for quite a few hours, haven't we, Richard?
We have, yeah. We had some pretty funky looking adventures too.
Yeah, there was one adventure where we didn't really, we found this this cove we found this cove on the island that, I was going to get a sword and I forgot to get a sword. Most incompetent gamers ever, I swear that's what we are.
I don't know if I could handle playing games with you guys.
You probably couldn't. We'd probably drive you crazier than heck.
I mean, I take gaming very seriously.
Yeah, well, we take gaming seriously too. We're just not good at it. There's a difference there. It's not like we don't take this seriously, and it's not like we just go run around and, muck around.
All right, as long as you're not acting a fool.
No. Sometimes the kid plays with us, and when the kid started playing with us, and we do like the kid. We used to have a show. That said, what was it? Richard, Mike, and the kid play a game, and we would play games, and we were serious about it. But sometimes it was really hard to be really serious about it, largely because I panic a lot, and we were playing a lot of backroom games at the time. So, like, I was running around, and I couldn't, my fingers on the keys were wrong, so I was whistling instead of opening the doors. So I was running around in the back rooms, attracting attention of any creatures that were around me, because I couldn't stop whistling. And
my God,
it was funny. It was funny, especially since I scream like a girl with jump scares. I don't like jump scares, but other people like the fact that I don't like jump scares. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know which chest has my armor, my backup armor, and my backup weapon in it.
Yeah, I don't have a good...
Well, I got killed, so
that either.
my all my stuff from my dead body is out there on the island, so I could go try to get it back.
Yeah, I just killed that bird that was chasing after me on the shore.
I'm trying to remember what killed... Oh, here, I found my backup stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get my armor.
I think lately I've just been more involved with games where I can 100% it, like, and then, I don't know. I need like an end goal. Like
that is one of the problems with these games, is that there really
with the ones that you're playing
is no end goal. How do people find the servers? We have a question about how do people find the servers, and what you can do is when you sign up for membership in the cult, which gets you the free email address. And it doesn't cost anything. Basically, it just makes sure that we have some sort of registration for membership on the servers. We will be releasing public addresses for the Minecraft server, but the other servers require invites, technically, for the information. So you'll be able to get on the Minecraft server, but not be able to do anything until we get some sort of confirmation of you and that you want to participate and everything.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, what if I don't particularly want to do it, but what if, since I'm a member, I would like to let my son go on it and check it out, or maybe find some, other people that are, like their kids in here. Like,
That's a
does that make sense?
that's a good question and everything.
It wasn't
And
really a question, but it was. I almost structured it like one.
well, it was like
You know what I'm saying?
I caught your question. I caught your
Yeah.
hidden question there. Oh, I killed a withered shrub. Oh, there's an adventure over here. Reclaim the spirit pyramid. So what we'll do in that case is, as we go along, we'll like I said, the Minecraft server is going to be open. Anybody can go in, but in order to get like access to build and stuff, there will probably be a spot in the world where you can just say, "Hey, I want to join." Oh my God! I walked onto some spikes and got killed. I can't believe it.
This is like getting a question answered by someone
Playing a game?
not paying attention. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't paying attention. I walked on some spikes and everything like that. I would like to just release public addresses for everything, but the way the Wyland server and the Valheim server work right now, until we can get redirects going, we have to. There's a little bit of a. Did I lose all my armor? I don't know. A little bit of an issue there. Minecraft, on the other hand, has a lobby in a world, and so people can register there and get permissions to build and everything. Of course, I mean, we have, it is the Cult of Brighter Days. We are basically trying to create our impression in our virtual world to make up for our lack of control in the real world. So that would mean that. Oh, stop for a second and answer the question.
If I want to indoctrinate my kid into the cult via video games, how do I do that? That was the question.
How do we indoctrinate people? Okay, so later tonight,
by example.
Later tonight, I will be posting up at the website the access, what you need to do to be able to get to our Minecraft servers. At the same time, currently the only way to get information about the two other servers is going and filling out the membership form on the Cult of Brighter Days website, which, like I said, is free. And then you'll get information about the Wyland server and the Valheim server and how to join there. That being said, there's a bird just walked by with a stocking cap on its
Squirrel.
head. I know, but it was a giant bird that attacked me, but it had a Santa Claus hat on its head.
But okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a squirrel, it was a bird.
That was.
What?
I can't see what you're doing. I'm just making fun of the ADHD.
You know
Squirrel.
what? You know what? If it wasn't you, I'd say you're punching down, but I totally get it. It's
I
punching
have
across.
ADHD too, though.
Like I said, it's punching across, so
Yeah.
it's all right. But we do have a Discord channel as well, which I'll be putting up as well within the next day or so. And then people can join the Discord channel. And the Discord channel will have information about the servers and links to the servers there as well. So there'll be
said as well like 6 times in the same sentence.
I highly doubt 6 times in the exact same sentence, unless it was the largest one-run sentence I've ever had in my life, which it very well could have been.
I felt like it was never going to end.
No, that's just me talking. You feel like it's never going to end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, I know this stuff. Can't believe I walked right on top of those spears. So anyway, I would like to have more young people join, which is why I would like to say that's why we're doing the Minecraft server. But the truth of the matter is I like Minecraft and I like my server, so it might just be fun to have more people on my server than current. Speaking of the Minecraft server, we'll go ahead and go back over and look at the Minecraft server now. Now, Richard, I don't know if you actually have your Minecraft license.
I don't have
set up.
Minecraft set up on this computer.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's amazing. Somebody gets you Minecraft and you never log into the server.
Well, I was just thinking because, like, my kid, he's homeschooled and I'm
Uh-huh.
afraid to let him go out into the world these days. So,
I'm afraid to
how
go
can
out.
how can I get him involved in a community,
Well,
like that I'm okay with, So,
and we have a very safe Minecraft community to the point where if somebody wants, like, if you have a situation where um, you don't, when you want to have a world and you want to make sure that people aren't griefing or you don't have the risk of people griefing, we can provide custom worlds for them that
mm,
are specifically for them. So, and there is a mythology around it that we're putting together because there is a it is a representation of the cult, in the sense that um, it's the only way I'm going to get an island anytime soon, if at all. So I have a virtual island. That's the big deal. I want that virtual island. And let's see. And there we go. I was seeing how long it took for Minecraft to kick in. So, of course, I am like, normally I don't really care about game graphics that much. I'm not really like, oh, it doesn't really matter. But for Minecraft, I find it really, really annoying. Um, the square graphics and things like that. But I use a lot of I use a lot of texture packs and what they call shaders to make it much more, um, I'd say, attractive. But the gameplay is the important part of it, and I do like the gameplay, and I do like stories and adventure modes and things like that. So we are building up a series of adventure type things. One thing that we spent a lot of time doing, Tara, which shows how geeky
hmm
I am, is back in the 70s and 80s and everything, I used to play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. And in those adventures, when you bought an adventure, you get a map, right? And the map was just like a
hmm
blueprint map, 10-foot squares with lines that drew out what the dungeon was or the pyramid and everything like that. And so at one point, I went through and I started making up. I started making up the D&D maps in Minecraft to scale, and
You
so
would.
we built up a place called the Keep on the Borderland, which is amazing. But so this is the hub world we have here, and you can't see it, Tara. I don't know if you're watching
No.
it, Richard, but this is the hub world where everybody will have access to. But from here on out, in order to get access to build anywhere, you'll have to, at least let us know who you are and promise not to go break everybody's stuff. Because I don't want anybody griefing around and everything like that. But we do have multiple worlds because I'm all a multiverse person. So you can see that's one big tree. I mean, that's like a huge tree. That's our main spot. And then our main world, which is going to be a survival world where everybody needs to basically survive. You have to eat, you have to fight off skeletons, you have to fight off things called creepers that can explode things. But we're going to have tools that allow people to set up their own towns. So you can build your own town, you can build your own tower and protect it from being damaged, all sorts of stuff like that. And to get that,
One of the things I know a lot about Minecraft just because of Lego. Like
yeah.
I really enjoy the Lego Minecraft sets.
Yeah, well, if you like the Lego Minecraft
So,
set, Minecraft is just basically a giant Lego set. But we have a world here that we have set up. That's the main adventure world, based on the legendary ancient land of Mumu, which is people don't understand that, but um, it was a Atlantis type legend. Mumu was an ancient land like Atlantis, A lot of it was,
Yeah. Lost Continent.
yeah, Memoria. It was called. That actually came. Of course, it actually came to popular attention by the band KLF in the 80s, with the Ancients of Mumu and everything. But we have a basic setup here for a base that's a communal location that everybody can hang out in with a series of workers. It's not a full scale village or town, but it's enough for everybody to start with and build out from here. You come in through this temple over here, and then we, like I said, then we have the standard house. We are looking for people to be administrators. We are looking for people to help manage it. We are looking for people to manage large builds. We want to expand this out. We want to create a real vibrant culture in Minecraft for people for the Cult of Brighter Days. Because, like I said, honestly, when you look at the world outside and around you, you can't really, you have no control over anything out there. But at least in here, you can shoot the creepers. You can shoot the skeletons.
I think that's my favorite thing about the video games. Like in Cyberpunk, I have like 6 apartments, and I'm like a bit, multi-millionaire.
I would totally be
So,
down with Cyberpunk if it was multiplayer.
right. I get that.
I mean, I like Grand Theft Auto and everything, and if I could run a Grand Theft Auto server, that would be great. But, Grand Theft Auto Online is not something that you can have your own server on, and it's not something that you can isolate and play with just the people you want, and it costs extra money. That's the other thing, is all of our server access and things like that don't cost anything. You just have to register so we know who you.
Well, what about Borderlands? I think that one you can do.
No, I don't think you can.
Isolated.
I don't think you can run your own server though on your local computer.
Oh,
Though.
I'll have to look into it and see.
Yeah, see, all these games here are run on our own, or run on.
Right, I get that.
And it's just because I'm cheap.
But like I get it, because like Ultima Online, that was whoever, logs in, and same with other ones. But
Actually,
Borderlands, I think you can have your own thing.
You want to hear something funny? I can run an Ultima Online server if you wanted.
Oh my gosh, I don't think I want to do that again.
Somebody actually open source back coded Ultima Online.
Uh-huh.
Somebody did that with Matrix Online too, but you can't get it to work right anymore. I tried to run a Matrix Online server the same way. But I know that you could take, somebody also did that with old original World of Warcraft as well too. You could download all the components for the original World of Warcraft, and then you can run your server just like the original, but you don't have to pay a subscription unless the people charge you for subscription and everything like that. So like I said, we have a completely pristine world that has custom terrain. I was very careful about the terrain that we requested to be made in a certain way to more represent a Middle Earth type world as opposed to a Minecraft world. So there's not a lot of canyons. There's not a lot of canyons. There's not a lot of let's see, Nexus, Void. I can't remember my names. I'm trying to teleport to my MVTP. All right. So there's not a lot of... I don't remember what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
I get distracted with
A lot
that.
of canyons and something else.
Oh, yeah. So the main world is a survival world, but it doesn't have a lot of open valleys and open chasms that go super deep. It's more like a real setting in a fantasy game where a lot of the tunnels and everything towards the surface are mines and smaller passageways, but the further down you go into the earth, you encounter larger caverns like in Dungeons and Dragons, the Underdark, and things like that, because I wanted to give it a sense of adventure, and I wanted to have a feel that we could build a mythology around it for the cult. And with that mythology, we can create a sense of stories and basically ideas that subscribe to our tenets and subscribe to our what we want to do. We want to stand out, and I can't find my house and everything like that.
I'm not gonna let you do video games on one of these again.
Why? Why?
Because you're way too distracted.
Well, see if somebody else was talking instead of just making me talk about it.
Well, I don't want to interrupt because I know you were trying to promote something that, so I'm trying to
I'm trying to promote something I'm going to do anyway. And here's the one thing. The one nice thing, I like playing these games where there's like multiple people hanging around and doing stuff. But at the same time, I sort of like my alone time in here. And somebody was pointing out that Minecraft is sort of a lonely type game, where, you do your own thing and such like that. We found this out when I was doing the Minecraft for education stuff at school, because you come in there with a plan, I'm going to build this, and then you end up spending the entire time teaching people how to do coding in Minecraft, because that's one of the features. Because that's one of the features of the education edition, is you could teach yourself, it will teach you how to code Python. It will teach you how to code Python. It will teach you how to code JavaScript inside Minecraft itself. So that's sort of interesting.
Yeah.
So if anybody really wants to learn how to code that stuff, you can always, find a school that has Minecraft for education and use that software to do it. It is really impressive. And if I wasn't working with other groups that were trying to learn how to do that type of stuff, I probably would have not even got back into Minecraft recently. But I have now, so that's the way it is. Well, we are coming up at the top of the hour at 4 o'clock. I don't know. We talked about community. We talked about soup. We talked about video games. Everybody got to experience my ability to lose focus on anything. I really think we should start having some other people manage these things than me.
Happy to.
Next week you can manage it, Tara. How's that sound?
Okay, sure. I'm gonna put together a whole thing.
Okay, you do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, good. You're in charge of the, and I'll do the video editing and everything like that. How's that sound?
Oh, awesome.
Well, I'm doing it anyway. So it's not like it's that much of a challenge. I can't even go downstairs correctly. I am such a failure at this. Anyway, everybody. So I will post up the address for the Minecraft server later tonight. I'll be on later tonight. If anybody wants to join, give me an hour or so and I'll post it up on the main site. Or you can, I don't want to post it in the chat right now here, but I will post it on the front page of our website within the next hour or so. And then anybody who wants to join can join for a while tonight. We'll get information out for people who want to join the Valheim server and help build out our community halls on every biome, which we've only got one in the dark forest or black forest and then the meadow, right, Richard?
Yeah, and the Black Forest is more of a
security hub right now.
Security hub / barracks. Workers' barracks.
Yeah, so we need workers for our barracks is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I set up a stone cutter down next to the forge and the workbench, next to the meadows building, but we can move that over to the Black Forest.
And Wildlands, as always. Stuff. If somebody's interested in Wildlands, let us know. The advantage of that one is that you can play it on your iPad, on your Windows, on your Android phone, and get the same experience. Other than that, I don't really have much more to say
I
today.
think we're done.
I think that's a good spot to stop.
Yeah.
So everybody go out there, grab a hamburger, grab a Big Mac. I guess McDonald's has a new Minecraft meal in celebration of the crazy movie coming out next Friday with Jack Black in it, of all things. With Jack Black plays Steve, and what's the Aquaman is in it too.
Yep.
It's Jack Black
I
and
can't.
Aquaman.
I can't eat food or anything, so this whole episode was kind of hard.
Well,
I stopped eating food. I'm gonna grab a peanut. You guys all go eat your hamburgers.
the game, it's a metaphor. There we go. It's a metaphor for the establishment and strength of community.
Yeah.
So, well, this is Michael Dorland saying good night for the Cult of Brighter Days. We'll go out with a little bit of an explanation of what we're doing virtual world-wise. And we'll see you guys next week at 2:00 for more of the good word. Say bye, everybody.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Welcome to the Cult of Brighter Days, virtual sanctuaries, where digital freedom meets community. Explore digital communes spanning multiple game worlds, where chaos and order are balanced on our terms. Why virtual communes? Late-stage capitalism commodifies relationships and spaces. We offer genuine community without interference. Here you can retreat from modern demands and experiment with alternative social structures. In Minecraft, we have communal storage, beginner zones, and advanced automation with creative representation of our philosophy. In Valheim's wilderness, we unify through struggle, create architecture blending function and philosophy, and forge connections. Yealands lets us experiment with complex creations, create immersive dialogue environments, and prototype our ideas. These communes are more than games. They are extensions of our philosophy and genuine communities. Whether seeking respite, connection, or a sandbox for exploration, there's a place for you. Plus, it's the only way Michael's going to get his island. For now. The Cult of Brighter Days, a cult that isn't a cult about a joke that isn't a joke. No actual cults were formed. You know you'll fit right in.